So we've got Polychuck here with us today in Montreal Rocks. Thomas Polychuck, if you're a creditor looking for him. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so you're getting pretty big pretty quickly. Got a question for you, Polychuck. What's the ethnicity of that? I couldn't find it. Like, is it Russian or Ukrainian or something?
Eastern European. It's Ukrainian actually. I'm Canadian, born and raised. My dad is my I think my great grandfather was a Ukrainian immigrant.
Yeah.
But I never knew him. But we Canadian, born and raised, and there's a big Ukrainian community in Canada.
Right.
Here in Montreal, there's a fairly big, but I think more in Saskatchewan and maybe more in Calgary. There's a lot of Ukrainians in Canada.
But Polychuck is Canadian. I was right.
It's Ukrainian, yeah, of Ukrainian descent. But the way we write it, we ended up changing the alphabet as Chuck, Chuck, as in Chuck Norris. So that's a little difference here. Most names finish with UK, but we have C. So I thought it was kind of cool,
So I'm glad I had a chance to speak with you. I looked over your stuff. I'm pretty impressed. You got 23,000 Instagram followers, man.
Yeah. I it started blowing when I started posting shredding videos, just guitar stuff, and it's just I've been on Instagram for a while, like since I don't know 3, 4, 5 years, as an artist, as my trying to promote my stuff. But this is my release coming out is my first official release, but I always had like little songs here and there, and when I started really shredding on Instagram, it just started blowing. People like that stuff, man.
You're quite the ambidextrous kind of guy. I mean, you're a guitar coach, you're a MMA, you're into fighting, producer, singer, guitar player. What drives you?
I mean, I'm a musician. I'm a guitar player. That's really my thing. But I'm not just a performer. I like to write music. Like I like to write songs. I like to compose, write pieces and produce. I went to music school. I went to the recording school as well here in Montreal. I'm just a musician. I'm trying to create stuff always, and always be better. And but the MMA side is just me. I was never the sporty type. Now I'm 31 years old, but I started training. I started actually doing sports and just I was not moving before my early mid-20s. It was the kind of guy that would spend 8 hours practicing guitar and really, not to say nerdy, but I was not a sporty type. And then in my mid-20s, I was like, man, I should start moving. I should start doing some kind of exercise, and I decided, I mean, longevity, and it's just important in general, just general health, and there was a Muay Thai MMA gym across the street from where I lived, and I was like, man, I wish I knew how to fight. It's kind of badass to learn. So I just walked in and I signed up, and I've been there since then. It's been 4 years now that I train and practice martial arts.
What's your discipline? What's your main go-to discipline in MMA?
It's striking, so mostly kickboxing, Muay Thai. Muay Thai, a little bit of karate here, but it's not formal karate. But I do some techniques that are from karate, and I do a little bit of wrestling as well and jiu-jitsu. But I only started about a year and a half ago.
Right.
So yeah.
I understand you're a bit badass. You fight in smokers. Explain that to the layperson. Yeah. What is smokers?
Smokers are kind of like the step before you start doing amateur fights, like real sanctioned fights. And a lot of people do both, do sanctioned fights and just do smokers for fun. They're like a cleaner version of the movie Fight Club.
It's underground cockfighting, is that what it is?
Well, no. It's legal, but it's funny because in some countries, in some states, it's not legal. It depends on the state or the country or whatever. I know it is here in Montreal. Yeah, technically there's no winner. There's no official winner, and it's like an exhibition fight more than anything.
Right.
But it's the rules of a fight. You're really trying to hurt the other guy, and the other guy's really trying to hurt you.
But in a peaceful, loving way.
yeah, kind of.
Who do you look up to in the MMA world? I would think George St. Pierre, but I mean, I can't be confident.
I mean, he's Quebecois, so yeah, he's a great fighter. But I would say Nicky Holzken is Nicky Holzken. He's a Dutch fighter. Actually, really, really good. He does. I don't think he does MMA though. He just does kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, Dutch kickboxing. But yeah, he's a really tough guy, and he's in his I think late 30s, and he's still fighting and still winning fights, and it's very impressive.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into the Dutch thing in a second here. That's a pretty good segue. Do you have your hands insured? Because your go-to passions are MMA and guitar playing. Now, if your hands were compromised in any way, you'd be screwed. No?
That's it's funny because my dad actually told me that. I think I went visiting him about a month ago, and he said, "Well, you should get your hand insured." And I was like, "Oh, is it really worth it?" And I don't know. A lot of people are talking to me about it. That maybe so they're not insured, but maybe that would be something to consider.
I would. You're also a guitar coach. I mean, that's
my livelihood. Yeah,
it's your livelihood. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, you might want to consider that. Moving on to Shadows Exposed.
Yeah, Shadows
Exposed. Your new EP. You've been releasing singles over the years, but I guess possibly the one benefit of COVID's come out that people have been able to concentrate on their passions. I've interviewed a bunch of guys that said, you know what, they've really got some good music out because they've had the isolation to concentrate. So
definitely. Explain
to somebody who hasn't heard about you, which it's not going to be long before they have, because like you're going viral all over the place, but what's your style of music? I know it's a bit of metal, a bit of this, bit of that. Overall, what kind of theme do you have for your sound?
Generally speaking, I'm rock. It's rock, alternative rock, but a little bit beyond I like to go a little bit, beyond the typical rock format. So I use a lot of synthesizers, loops, stuff like that. I stay in the format of the 3-minute song, catchy hooks, melodies, alternative rock. But I like to. So I guess I could say like alternative rock, a little bit on the prog side, because very technical guitar solos, some special harmony here and there, textures with synthesizers. I use loops. I use electronic drums or whatever. Right. So yeah, I would say that alternative on the prog side a little bit.
I see that you play a 7-string as well. What brought you to that? You needed some deeper bass notes, or how did you come across that?
Any type of guitar I want to put my hand on and try, but this 7-string, I decided to buy it because it was made by a Montreal. It's by a Canadian company, a guy in Montreal, Gorilla Guitars. He makes really cool guitars, but they're really made for metal and shredding and lower tunings. But I was interested. I wanted to try it, and I'm glad I bought it, man. It plays like a charm, and great discovery. Guy from Montreal, man. Yeah, Gorilla Guitars. Yeah.
Shout out to that. Shout out to Gorilla Guitars.
Definitely.
Guitar influences. As soon as I saw the 7-string, it fit with the Paul Gilbert thing, because I've seen that Paul is. And I was really impressed with the fact that you're an Yngwie fan, because I'm an Yngwie fan, big time as well.
Nice.
Who else would you say that are your guitar influences around the world, but specifically pick one Canadian?
Man, one that I just discovered recently on Instagram. His name is Nick Johnston. You got to check him out. I think he's from Calgary or Edmonton. He's incredible, man. He's like, obviously the guys like Paul Gilbert, Yngwie Malmsteen, they've been there for a long time. they're legends already. But the newer guys like Nick Johnston, what I like is they bring something new to the table. It's not just shredding anymore. You know, back in the '80s, shredding and playing scales really fast was like, oh wow, it was but now it's become more like it's, I don't want to say it's boring or bland or whatever, but it's cool to have, it's refreshing to have younger guys, and you know, like Nick Johnston is a good example. I was always into metal and shredding, but as I got older, I would say, I don't know, mid-20s, I became interested in jazz, and I went to University of Montreal in jazz guitar. So, you know, now it's guys like Alan Holdsworth, you know, jazz players, man, Pat Metheny, all these, you know, and Nick Johnston, man, he's a good example. He's a good, like, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of blues, a little bit of metal. He shreds, but he can play great, you know, smooth melodies. I mean,
I mean, Brian Setzer comes to my thinking when I think of those kind of players. They just, that's so much talent. Like Brian Setzer.
He mixes, you know, Brian Setzer, he's good with, he shreds, but he plays rockabilly, you know, country, rock and roll, all these genres, you know. So that's really what I like. I can't say that my influences are just these two, you know, shredders. They're just, you know, everybody influenced me. You know, everybody is an influence.
Everybody leaves as Adrian Vandenberg once told me, everybody leaves a bit of a mark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes not even guitarists. You know, I'll hear a saxophone player. I'll hear like Charlie Parker. I'll hear whatever. You know, a keyboard player, and I'll be like, cool. Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater. You know. It's really licks and melodies, man, that you can transcribe on the guitar. You know what I mean? So everybody potentially is an influence. So
you play guitar, you sing, do you play any other instruments? I'm sure you do. On your EP, what are you not doing? Are you doing everything or?
Nothing. I play everything.
Wow.
I play keyboard. I play a little bit of keyboard. Like I have my little analog keyboard here. I do my own keyboard lines, my chords. I know like the basic chords on the piano. Do the drums. I have my electronic drum set right there. So the drums are all played, but they're MIDI drums played on an electronic drum kit. There's nothing I don't do on my EP. The bass, you know, so everything. There in a song I have a horn, a brass section. Actually, just to give some texture, and I didn't play that. I actually played it on the keyboard, so as a MIDI sample.
Are you do you like to play live? And if you do, obviously you're going to have to get a bunch of guys together to assist. It's going to be pretty hard to run around to 5 instruments.
Well, I love playing live. I mean, I love playing with I have a band. I play with them, you know, regularly. And but like we're not hiring people to do the there's a saxophone sometimes there's a saxophone line in a song that's not on the EP, but we're not going to hire a guy for just that one line. So I just play on the guitar. Or you know, like sometimes the keyboard player will play, you know, some you know, strings or whatever that he can program in his keyboard.
Right. With Exposed and Construct, and I mean just a couple of other ones off the EP, it's only been out like for a matter of, you know, just a bunch of weeks. It's hitting 25,000 views and stuff. Were you ready for that kind of success immediately? Did that blow you away, or I mean, like how did you?
I mean, I know where it all comes from. It all comes from the shredding and all the you know, all the guitar stuff. My audience, it's funny because a lot of my audience on Instagram don't even know that I play other instruments, that I release music. They're just there for the guitar videos, and then once in a while I'll get a comment like, "Oh man, you sing? I was just here for the guitar," or whatever. I just thought you were a shredder, and then all the traffic comes directly from there. And most of my audience is not in Montreal, not in Canada, not even in Canada.
Really?
Most of my audience, if I look at my stats on Spotify, Instagram, and all the other platforms, it mostly comes from the United States and Brazil, and then Canada.
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. For some reason, I don't know. I got big in Brazil.
You must be a Pantera fan.
I am, but I'm also a Sepultura fan.
I know you are because I saw your T-shirt and one of your shirts. I was going to ask you about your influences.
Yeah.
Your favorite bands, like, I mean, I know you like Linkin Park and that sort of thing, but yeah, Sepultura, Pantera. What about Annihilator? Jeff Waters band.
I'm definitely a fan of thrash metal, man. Anything, I love music, man. To me, music is music. Doesn't matter, like the genre doesn't mean anything. I love death metal. I love thrash metal. I love jazz. I love so many genres. Obviously I couldn't. I'm not gonna say to people, well, my main influence for my music is Sepultura, but they played a role in the musician that I am today.
I mean, everybody's got a growth when they're born to what's their immediate or their first couple. Everybody has their first couple albums, and that kind of influences you on the path you go on in life, right? I mean, musically, for that matter. Speaking of around the world, I mean, obviously you're well known around the world. How did you get involved with the Scottish football, as they call it, or soccer anthem over there? Up and Adam.
It was actually somebody who reached out to me on Instagram, and he reached out to get a shout out or just a feature in his song. He's like, man, you fit perfectly in my Scottish whatever anthem. And I'm like, yeah, sure, definitely. I listened to the song. I was like, well, it sounds very folk, and it was interesting, and I did it. But yeah, just as a guest solo like that, I'm not nothing political or anything. Like, it's just it's fun to collaborate with a whole bunch of people. I just did a song that was released today, and it's a pop rock song on which I played a cool little solo. So it has nothing to do with what I do, and I collaborate with a bunch of different artists. A couple months ago, I did a song on a trap metal, so like rap, death metal / rap song.
Right.
So yeah, I like to collab with people. Yeah.
I was watching one of your videos. I think it was Here I Come. I hear in your tone, anyways, a Satriani tone. Is that possible?
Yeah. Definitely.
Guitar?
Big time. When I'm playing my pentatonic lines, it's taken right away. It's taken from Satriani. It's not a copy, but
I'm talking about the tone overall. Like, I mean, the tone coming out of the amp, the settings. It sounds.
I mean, just Marshall amp, just classic rock. So Marshall amp, tube screamer, and there you go. Yeah. Nice. But it's a lot in my playing, like especially in this song, the Here I Come. The lick is very similar to a lick he has in Summer Song. It's in a different key, but the pentatonic lines are very similar. And the way I play them, the way I pick them, the way I articulate the note is very similar to how Satriani does.
Why don't you give the hundreds of thousands of viewers that we're going to get on this a little bit of a taste of your playing? Can you play us a few licks?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
What guitar are you playing right now? That's a Strat? Or
that's my Sir. So it's a Sir modern. It's actually a more boutique brand. It's an American brand with very high quality guitars. So kind of like a Strat or an Ibanez.
Right. Ibanez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. The end there. Oh, I mean, the last three chords sounded like the end of something that Randy Rhoads would do.
Yeah. You're very like open chords.
Yeah.
Very 80s metal. Yeah.
The theme of your songwriting, is there a specific one on this, or each track has its different qualities?
there is a theme. The Shadows Exposed. It's every song is kind of about a dark, aspect of life, and
Right.
Shadows Exposed is kind of like I'm bringing to light these darker aspects of life, and kind of in order to heal from them. They're all, like I said, they're all like dark. The songs are dark, but the music is not dark. It's not played or sung in a depressing way. It's more played in a liberating way. So kind of
Right.
like a little help EP that you
Kind
get.
of.
Yeah.
There's like 5 tracks on the EP. Were you originally planning on releasing an EP this year, or is it due to the fact that basically everybody's been locked up for 18 months?
I was gonna definitely release music, but I didn't
Yeah.
know if I was gonna release a song one by one or an EP.
Hmm.
And now that everything's like reopening, well,
Yeah.
gradually, shows are gonna start happening again and stuff. I thought it was a good opportunity to, make something, something more eventful than just releasing a song here and there. So I thought, well, let's put 5 songs together, release it as an
Right.
EP, and then maybe get a tour, some shows. So we're working on this. Obviously, it's not easy with the pandemic and stuff, but
Yeah.
just to make it more, bigger. So yeah.
So
I was gonna release the songs, but maybe not as an EP. But I did, and I'm glad I did.
yeah, I talked to a couple of guys, and they kind of saying that they're steering that away from the full 12-track albums. A lot of guys are doing what you were doing earlier, is releasing a tune here, a tune there, or maybe a smaller EP. And I think it's because there's so much with the social media now that it's hard it's hard to keep somebody's attention that long, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also the fact that it's actually easier to promote or to keep people interested in your stuff when you have a small event here and there, rather
Right.
than a big, hey, listen to my 1 hour material, and you kind of lose people's interest.
Yeah, because there's so much going on, right? There's so many distractions with social media, and
yeah, exactly. So everything's going really fast. So you got to always, be on top of your game and be like, hey, listen to this. It just came out. Hey, listen to this. It just came out. Yeah.
And the guys I was talking about, and obviously you're on board with this, is you can spend more time crafting your art to a masterpiece, because you don't have 12 tracks and you have a limit of 3 months to get it done in. You can spend literally 3 months on one song and make it a masterpiece, and when it comes out, that's what you're going to get the attention, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's a good strategy, and it works for most artists, and even major artists, release music like that. Or what they'll do is they'll release like maybe 4 or 5 songs, and the other maybe 5, 6 songs they'll release it as so gradually they'll release one, and then 2 months later another one, 2 months later, and then 6 months later they'll release the 5 remaining songs as an album.
So what do you do in your spare time other than MMA guitar, teaching guitar, producing, singing, songwriting?
Take care of my kids.
Time to do anything else?
Yeah, I like to spend time with my kids when I can. So,
Nice.
when I'm not teaching, because I'm teaching people all around the world. I have students sometimes at 6 a.m. I have people like late at night. So if my schedule is all over the place, I try to get some training, record music, write music. But when I can, I'm close to my kids. I see them every day. But if I have, a full day of a free day, I'll take my kids to the park. I'll spend time with my kids. Yeah, definitely.
So teaching around the world, obviously virtually. That's what's the furthest place that you're teaching somebody from?
Australia. I think Australia.
Wow. Very nice.
Like literally at the opposite side of the planet. I've had someone in Bali. I've had that, so that's also pretty far. Yeah.
So how long? So when you've been playing since you were 12 or 13, did you what did you when you went to guitar school, what did you study?
I've been playing actually since I'm 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's even younger.
Wow.
I started because my dad, apparently I was always, as a young toddler, I was always trying to, asking for guitar toys or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember. They told me, and
Yeah.
I was making the guitar. My dad was playing. He's not a great guitar player, but he was a folk. He knew his chords and he liked to sing songs. And he when I was 6, he bought me an actual guitar. So
Right. What was your first?
Very happy. Yeah, it was my first guitar, and he taught me a couple chords, like maybe a G, D, E, and I from there that's the first thing, the first few things that I learned, and I think at 7 or 8 I started taking lessons, but more the classical
Okay, so you started kind of with classical and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but it didn't. I didn't stay in that style for very long. Eventually, I wanted to learn to play rock songs. Already at 10 or 11, I had "Kill 'Em All" by Metallica. I had it on cassette. I was more drawn to rock and metal. Yeah, so already like 10 or 11. Yeah.
Wow. First concert you went to, Polychuck?
First concert I went to, I think Sepultura. Yeah, Sepultura.
Oh, really?
In 2001, I was 11. Sepultura and Hatebreed.
Wow, that would have been quite the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I was sitting in the back with, my ex brother-in-law back then.
Tomorrow, you're shooting a video?
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm shooting the video for the single, which is called "Beating Myself Down." Yeah.
Okay. Give us a little lick of that song.
Yeah.
Hey, I like the arpeggios and the sweet picking.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah, thank you. I need to practice it a little bit more, but yeah. So this one has a very cool guitar solo. I'm gonna need to sit down and practice it more. But yeah, "Beating Myself Down." It has a very dark name, but it's actually a fun, uplifting song. And the video is gonna be gonna try to make it really funny and
making the video there in Montreal, obviously.
Yeah, in Montreal. Yeah. So and we're gonna go to the studio. We're gonna rent a studio and we're gonna go a little bit outside. So it's gonna be a story. I'm actually gonna be acting, so playing me as me. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Yeah.
It was kind of funny. I remember watching that video that you did for Up and Atom, and I thought, what says football more than strippers sliding down a pole? Anybody sees the video, they'll understand that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time, man. What do you want? What do you want to say to your fans and your new fans to be?
Yeah, I mean, check me out if you like shreds, if you like crazy guitar stuff, if you like rock music, definitely check me out on Instagram at Polychuck, with POLYCHUCK, as in Chuck Norris.
Where can they get your music?
It's gonna be everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, every music streaming app online. It's all there. It's already I already have songs that are out, so you can check it out already. Spotify, iTunes, what else? YouTube, SoundCloud, all of them. Same thing for Facebook, same thing for YouTube, same thing for TikTok. I also have a TikTok with a lot of cool guitar stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you. Just letting the viewers know I got Andy Kern coming up tomorrow. I got Dee Snider next week. I've got Polychuck today.
Thanks,
you want to end us out with a bit of a solo lick? That'd be great. And everybody check out Polychuck on the different social media platforms, and keep reading and watching us here at MontrealRocks.ca.
Yeah.